So what's a housing economist doing talking about resiliency? Well, we worked with PCA and the editors at Hanley to come up with a definition of what resilient could be. And we took a very simplistic definition and said, let's define this by the way that the government categorizes counties across the country into those who are particularly susceptible to wind damage or earthquake damage. And then through that lens, the data that I'm going to be sharing at the luncheon is basically just applying our view of construction activity to that space. And I thought I'd share a few of the facts because it was pretty fascinating to simply apply and answer the question, just how important is resiliency to the country? So here's a few of the tidbits. If we do it by county, 63% of the counties in the country technically fall into a resilient definition. So it fully backs up what Greg was saying. This isn't just about where hurricanes strike. But if you look at the stats about where people live and where housing live, it actually tilts even more towards the resilient areas. So over 245 million people live in what we are determining as resilient counties. That's 77% of the U.S. population. The median age of homes in those areas are older rather than younger. So one of the long-term question marks is, what do we do about the older existing housing stock? But at the same time, those areas happen to be the richest in terms of income and the net worth of the individuals who live there, and the home values are actually higher in the resilient markets. In terms of our view of activity, 71% of the closings in the country last year were in what we term as resilient counties, and our forecast going forward suggests that even more activity is going to be in those markets. When you look at a detailed view of that activity, the pink areas on these bars represent resilient. Actually, that label is flipped, and the lighter color represent the non-resilient. And you basically see that the vast majority of the demand for future homes over the next 5 years fall more in resilient areas than non-resilient areas. And in fact, it starts to tilt towards a greater proportion at the more expensive the prices. So it's an indicator that the residential market can afford to build the resiliency that the codes that PCA is working on so strongly to support. And then finally, if we look at the markets that we rank in terms of the largest markets in the country with the most growth, I highlighted in here the ones that all fall in resilient markets. So just simply looking at the top 20, we rank over 900 markets in the country, but purely looking at the 20 best, the vast majority of them fall in resilient areas. So my conclusion for all of this is no doubt resiliency is important. It's important to all of us who are in the business to achieve the goals. And one of the academic studies we'll be talking about at luncheon is the fact that it's been proven that stronger codes result in higher value homes. And we think that that's something that benefits us all over the long term. So we invite you to join us with the luncheon. We're in S221, I think is the right number. Thank you.